All right, so today we're talking about, what is the right rental property to buy. So if you guys are not familiar with our series, every month I bring on Oggie, who's a rental expert, and we've been talking about like how do you become really successful doing the rental business, right? Because this is way more valuable than the flipping business. Might not seem like it, but when you start doing it, you will realize it quickly. So the first two podcasts we covered, why cash flow doesn't matter up front, and we also talked about the burr on steroids. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, I'd recommend you go back and check those out after this episode. So today's going to be all about, what properties should we be focused on buying? Because you can certainly buy the wrong property. So I'll let you take over, Augie, and we will have ourselves a nice episode today.
Good, man. All these series are really nice. Putting some nice content for people, and I think that things we talk about, nobody else is talking about it. We're completely opposite on other investors' minds. Like, cash flow for us doesn't really matter. We don't care about the cash flow. We don't really care about what the interest rate is on the mortgage.
I just did one for 7 and I was smiling like a baby.
It was smiling because how much money you made. You know, it's right. But so all this process, it has all little things that has to come together, like a big puzzle. So this podcast that we put together with you, it's the little pieces getting together. So we talked about the cash flow doesn't matter. We talked about the burn on steroids, which actually during that conversation we had, I came with a specific name for that refi we do, velocity refinancing. So that's going to be the brand name for it. So trademark it, that type of a thing.
I
So
might know a thing or two about velocity. May have been around
yes.
for 8 years.
So
Yeah.
use the money to make more money, you
Yes.
know, type of thing.
I
So
agree.
now the next puzzle is, what is the right property to buy? What does the good rental property looks like? Features, location, things like that. So I want to go over some basic details so when you research and know what to look for, and kind of a little basics. So kind of a help you through the journey. So
Beautiful.
first of all, it doesn't matter what I say here, what kind of a property should buy, what the best rental is. The first rule is, if it's a really good deal, just buy it. If it's appraising for 350 and you're buying it for 200, but it's in a really bad neighborhood, you don't like it, you're never going to live there, just got them buy the property, and then later, um, maybe just sell it, exchange it for something else. So first rule is, the best deals, the amount of equity, it doesn't matter where the location is, it doesn't matter, just buy it. But if you have a choice and strategically go and try to buy rental properties, this is how I would go by and figure out the location and type of properties I'm going to buy. So first thing first, the main thing when you're buying a rental property is to pick the location where the property is going to double in value the fastest. That is the only, that is not the only, but that's the most important rule when you're picking to buy a rental. If you have a choice, you have to find the area where the value is going to double the fastest. So now, where is that location? Now, that's the question. So the first rule, the value is in the land. I repeat that. This is the most important rule of the characteristics of a property. The value is in the land. So when you buy a property, the value is going to double the fastest when the property has land, which means single family home with a piece of land. Condos, townhomes, you don't have that. In a condo, you own the box. You have neighbors on top, on the bottom, on the side. That's it. Then you have ownership in the common areas. That's it. There's no land. Same thing with the townhome. Townhome, you own the land, air, but you have people on the side of you. So what we want is piece of property with a land. And why is that? Land is limited.
That's right.
It's limited. Yes, it's limited. It cannot go forever. So scarcity makes the land more expensive. The building on the actual land goes bad, deteriorates. It can take it down, scrape it, you can build something new, but the land is still there. So in a cities where everything gets developed, the land gets more, it gets higher price
It
because
becomes
there's a,
scarce because land is a fixed
yes,
thing.
yeah,
You can always improve the building, but the land is the land.
yeah. The city grows, gets more developed, the land becomes scarce, and then the prices go higher.
Yep.
So that helps the property value to double the fastest. So that's the first rule. The value is in the land. So second, then let's talk about a little bit about the area overall. If you have to pick different cities or states and things like that.
Just so everyone understands, you're in Phoenix, right? So that's a
I'm,
pretty good city to
I'm,
talk about this in because
yeah,
there's a lot of submarkets there.
the mecca of real estate investing.
It
It's
is the
if you
guru
can make it
capital
in,
of the
yeah,
nation.
if you make it in Phoenix, then you can make it anywhere in the world. So,
That's true. I
so
agree.
yeah, Phoenix area is pretty big. Maricopa County specifically, it's 5 million people, so quite a different areas. So,
Yeah, quite big.
but let's kind of look at three different things when you look at what area to pick. First, you have to look at affordability in the location that you're going to be buying rental properties. So the best location is when medium family income can afford to buy 60% of the properties listed for sale. So that's an average good market for rental properties. So let's say medium family income, don't count single people, it have to be family income. So let's say family income between husband and wife is 120,000.
Sure.
And in the 120,000, they can get mortgage up to 500,000. If 60% of the properties in this market are below the 500,000 price range, they can afford 60% of the market. This market is stable and good and allows growth and price going up. If the affordability rate is below 60%, then the market is not overpriced, but expensive, and the people cannot afford to buy too many properties.
So let's break that down a little bit. So let's talk Phoenix specifics because that's a popular city. So let me just guess here. So I'm assuming if you're in Arcadia, right, you're not in an affordable area, right? But if you're in like Glendale, you're probably going to be in a better, more affordable. Is that about accurate or is that?
Exactly. So you take the price points,
Yeah.
and if you research a market, you know that most of the deals, let's say in the Phoenix market, most of
Yeah.
the deals, 60% of the deals happen in price point below 500,000.
Sure. That makes sense.
So now you know that your market is in around 400,000. So 60% of the people can afford to buy property in around 400,000.
Okay.
If you're in a different market, cheaper market where the prices are, I don't know, 100,000, 120,
It's crazy.
kind of a same thing.
Crazy.
So here's the thing how to make a decision too. 60 below 60% affordability rate, it's expensive, less people can afford.
Yeah.
It's harder for them to buy. Over 60% affordability rate, then the homes are cheap. They're cheap. So if people can afford 80% of the market, what used to be here in 2013, 14, 15,
Yeah.
or 2010,
Yeah.
properties in the 60,
Washout.
70,000. Yes, yeah. You can afford 80% of the market. Then properties are cheap. They have to buy as many as you can. So
Yeah.
affordability rate, that's one thing you should look. Then population growth. You know, is this area growing, people coming in, or people moving out? So here is a stat that you should look for. It's the ratio between population and existing houses. So how many people and how many houses for each other? So a ratio of 2.5 people per household is good. It's average. So 2.5 people live in an average household. So if there two people live, the ratio is lower. Two people live average per household, then we have too many available homes because less people live in one home. There's too many
Mm,
homes, and the people are spread between many homes.
mm,
But when the ratio of people living in a property is above 2.5, let's say 3.5 people live in one home, they're cramped in because there are not enough properties. So this is the area where um, households are needed, new properties are needed. So we have to build properties because people are living together because there's not enough for them.
that sounds a lot like Southern California, San Diego.
Yeah, but a lot of this comes to affordability rate. In LA, affordability rate is 12%
What does that mean?
versus
12% of people can afford a property?
yeah,
Yeah, that's insane.
average medium income per family.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
interesting.
so population. So you have to look at the population. Is it growing? Is it you know the easiest way you can do this is go on U-Haul and see where the U-Hauls are moving, the traction, and you see which direction the U-Haul is more expensive. Like coming from California to Phoenix, it's $5,000 to rent it, and getting U-Haul to California, U-Haul pays you 200 to take it back. Some,
You know
at
what?
some,
That's true. Because people are leaving California, even though it's still expensive. I don't get it though, because like
yeah,
it's still expensive in LA, but people are
yeah.
getting the fuck out of there. Like it's going out of style.
Yeah, so population, affordability, and just
Yeah.
overall area development. Well, how is the migration and employment? Water supply. Hey, how does the water supply looks like in Phoenix? This is really important type of thing. So, but that's enough for area. So let's not go deeper into this. But this is the main things: affordability, population, um, growth, and development growth. This is what you should look for the area. So let's talk a little bit more about the actual property itself.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, so the actual characteristics. So let's say first, the most one is location. Everybody talks about location, location, location in real estate. So let's talk about the location. How do we pick the location? We talked about the area, and um, that's already kind of a research. Then the second thing that we know already that I told you is the value is in the land. So we know the area, we know that the value is in the land, and we're looking for the property that is going to double in value the fastest. So now we need to find where is that location where the land is going to double in value the fastest. And when we know that the land goes up because of scarcity, then what's that location where the land is going to be most valuable and searched and bought? This usually is in the center of the city
Mm,
where everything is already developed. There's no more space to develop anything new. You have to scrape old buildings to build something new. Downtown,
mm, yeah.
close to freeways. So that's where the location is versus being on the outskirts of the city where there's plenty of land, new builders like Arizona, desert everywhere. You can go in any directions and build subdivisions, 100 houses.
So let me
If you
give you
have,
an example in Phoenix because I know Phoenix pretty well. Santan Valley versus downtown Phoenix. Would that be an
uh,
accurate?
I mean, yeah, Prescott. Yes, I would
That's way out, like Santan
way
Valley.
out.
Yeah.
Plenty of land. That's Queen Creek area. If people know that, it's plenty of land. You can grow as main properties. One of the big builders just bought, I don't know, 100,000 acres to build 10,000 homes in the next 10 years.
Where out in the Santan Valley?
A little bit north of Santan Valley, in the East Valley overall. So,
God.
you know, you're going to be competing with the builders.
Yeah.
There's plenty of land, so you don't want to do that. So if you have a choice to buy a brand new property on the outskirts of the city because it's cheaper and it's new, it's not going to have any problems, or a little bit older property that needs a little more work, but it's in the center of the city, that one in the center of the city, even though it's going to give you more headache, it's going to double in value the fastest.
Yeah,
So that's for location. Look for the land and look where it's going to double in value the fastest.
that makes sense.
Avoid location as far as busy streets. Like don't, and nothing backing on the front, on the back as a busy street. Avoid high power lanes. How
Yeah,
do you call
you
it?
don't want that.
Power
The
the
power
the
lines
power
coming
the
through.
power
Yeah,
lines coming on the backyard. You don't want that. Nothing negative that is going to affect your ability to sell the property or rent the property, because this is going to give you lower appraisal, and it's going to have higher vacancy rate. So
how about properties? Here's a good one. So what about properties that are, you see a lot of this in like cities, like there's like a neighborhood and then there's some houses next to the neighborhood, and then maybe next to those houses you have like a commercial building next to it. Are you trying to avoid that too? Being next to commercial, like next to a
no,
store, next to a
no,
doctor's office?
no, because commercial close to your location means jobs. If you're close to a job location where there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of people want to live there. So
Interesting.
you want to be there. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Makes
The other
sense.
thing for location is we talked about the negative, but don't pick anything positive too, over positive. Like you don't want waterfront property. You don't want golf course lot. You don't want all these things
Of course.
because you're overpaying for things that doesn't matter to you. They do matter a little bit, but on the ROI that we're looking at as an investors, they not make any sense. So
Yeah,
do not overpay for golf course lots, waterfront properties, great views. Yeah, you don't want that.
you don't
You
want that.
want you want the boring property in the neighborhood that it is just going to bring in the most money. So
You want the plain Jane property that's going to be a winner over the long term versus the
exactly,
unicorn.
boring property. That's it. It's just numbers game. So we talked about a price, affordability. 60% of the people should be able to afford to buy or rent this property.
Mm,
So look at for the median income in your area, kind of do the calculations, what somebody with family with $80,000 income can buy a property, and that's your sweet spot in the price range. I would say, or ask any local research and ask, hey, what's most of the deals, what are they happening, below what price point? Like in Phoenix, below 500,000, 60% of the deals are below 500,000.
sure.
So the cheaper, the better.
What are your thoughts now? That's very good insight there. What are your thoughts about buying property in really bad neighborhoods, like D-class neighborhoods, like because there's a lot of those in some of these like Midwest cities, like St. Louis, Cincinnati, and there's a
If
lot of these
so,
properties that are
here's
cheap.
my advice for property in a bad area.
I'm talking real bad too. I'm talking dangerous.
Real bad. Yes. So if it's a great deal, you buy it,
Okay.
but you have to be ready. Usually,
Ready.
the properties in the bad area, they give you really good cash flow.
Yes,
The good properties do not give you good cash flow.
that is
But
true.
this makes sense. Go back to a first episode and talk, listen about why cash flow doesn't matter. So the only reason to buy a property in a bad area is it's a really, really good deal. So you can take it, stabilize it, and then resell it and exchange it to something else and move the equity into another property. Property in a bad neighborhood comes with uh, high. So I own a property management company. If you come with a property in a bad area, we're going to turn it down, or we're going to significantly increase our management fee
Sure.
because of the headache. Then you're going to have more vacancy because the people you have to evict them in and out, financial problems. So you're going to have higher vacancy. So you're going to have more problems. You're going to have really, really good cash flow, but it's going to be a headache. So if you're going to buy it for a short period of time and get out of it as soon as possible. Take the equity, or even maybe flip it or something. Just get out of it. But
Yeah,
do not hold it for too long, because it's gonna distract you from your main purpose. You're gonna spend too much time managing. And you don't make money when you're managing the property. You make money when you're buying properties. So
100%. That's a great
so
point because I have a lot of people who like tell me they're like, you should buy in Toledo, Ohio, and I'm like, no, that's not the like. I'm sure there's deals there, but like a lot of these like high cap rate section, like they're not that cool. I've wholesaled all those opportunities, man.
yes.
They're not for
So
me.
if the property is cash flowing really good, it's in a bad neighborhood, bad area. I'll tell you right away. You don't even have to tell me the statistics.
The bad
Tell me
neighbor.
it's going to cash flow $1,000. Okay, I know why.
I
So
know.
you could, but I wouldn't do it, because we are in the passive income business. We are lazy investors. We want to set it and forget it, that type of a system. And also, we get people to work for us, and we don't get involved in property. Has a lot of headache. You're going to be involved, and it's going to, again, distract you from your main purpose. Main purpose is
Buying
to
property.
buying properties. That's where you make your money. So
100%.
uh,
100%.
so we talked about location, we talked about price. All right, let's talk about square feet.
Mm,
What's the right size? I did a research in my market. I was looking at the research in our market for the last 20 years, and that includes um, the crisis in 2007, 8, 9. So the properties with lower square footage, below 1,000 square feet, appreciated at 6.9% per year average for the last 20 years. And the properties over 3,000 square feet, 3,500 and more, appreciated only 3.4% per year.
damn.
So the, the, the lower the square footage, the higher the appreciation is.
That's interesting.
Just be careful, of course. That's my personal opinion. That's my research. Do the research for the local area. Things might be changed, but do not go for the bigger properties. Go for the medium and smaller properties,
Okay.
and medium and small properties. And once you know what people can afford, and then you can really see what in this particular area for 500,000 price point, can you afford 1,500 square feet home or 2,000 square feet home? You know, that's the
And you're going to have less maintenance the smaller the property is because there's less stuff that really.
sure, depends.
Like if
Depends.
you have a pool and a big property and you have all these other things that are just kind of like, oh, that's another question. You're in Phoenix, right? I'm sure people in Phoenix are listening. What are your thoughts on pools? Because that's a liability. I would never want a pool
Every third property has a pool.
in Phoenix.
So yes.
Holy moly. God,
So
that's crazy.
if you want to get the highest possible return on the investment, do not buy properties with pool.
Interesting.
There's regulations. You have to add fencing. You have to maintain the pool. You have to fix it. You could get more money rental, a little bit more, but the headache is not there.
Can you
Like,
fill the pool in Phoenix? Can you just fill it up and close it?
yes, yeah, I can get a permit. In Phoenix, it's weird. They ask you to do 300 holes in the pool basis, and then cover it with dirt. That's
300 holes in the pool?
yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, because rainwater goes on top, and if there's no holes, it's gonna, even though you have dirt into the pool, it's still gonna hold on the bottom. So I mean, yeah, people know
Yeah,
what they
the
do. It,
7 days a
it
year it rains in Phoenix. Yeah, word. That makes sense.
exactly. But that brings me to the first. If it's a good deal, just buy it.
Just buy it.
Just
Even if
buy it.
there's a pool.
You're gonna deal with this later. We're gonna talk down the road about the tax advantages of the real estate, but one of the biggest advantages we do is a 1031 exchange. Practically, you don't like the property, sell it, move the money into something else that you really like.
But what's the
So
golden rule? Never sell
never
for
sell
cash.
for cash. Yeah, never sell for cash. Just move the equity around, cash out, refi, and get it done. So
Oh, that's
all right,
amazing.
so square footage. I think I found in the Phoenix market, anything around the 2,000 square feet is a really good deal. is really, if you can find it in the right price, around 2,000 square feet, is a pretty good deal.
Okay.
This brings me to the bedrooms and bathrooms. Different locations have kind of a customary for the market, and a lot of East Coast properties having 3 bedroom, 1 bathrooms is really common in the
Yeah.
market.
Yep.
But so you need to know. But my rule of thumb here in the Phoenix and on the probably the whole Western states, they're a little bit newer. 3 bedroom minimum, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom properties. And why three? Because if you go down to 2 bedrooms, you're going to be competing with apartments. You don't want
That's
to.
true.
You don't want to. You don't want to compete with apartments. Most apartments are 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. This is the most common selection that builders were doing. 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom because it's the most efficient as far as building and renting. So you don't want to compete with these people. And then minimum you want to do 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. But I think in this timing, like this, uh, how do I say it? Right now, the lifestyle of people requires probably 4 bedroom, 3 car garage. That's it. Because you have a family, 2 kids, you need an office, you need things like that. So one of the these you can do, but I don't think you're going to be able to buy good rental on a decent price in this. So 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom in a lower price points, it's perfectly fine. And also single level, 2 levels, it doesn't really matter. It just doesn't really matter.
In Phoenix, you guys don't have a lot of the houses in Phoenix are just one level, right? Most of them.
Yeah, it's too expensive to do a basement here.
Oh, so there's no okay, because it's so
No basement.
the dirt is so hard. Is that why?
No, everything comes to building codes. So on the East Coast, because of the point of freezing, freeze point, it has to be 3 feet of maybe 6 feet foundation. So
Oh
when you
yeah,
do 6 feet foundation, why don't you just dig a little more and just
and
do
get
a
a basement.
basement in? Exactly. Phoenix is 1 foot. That's it.
You just need a
Yes.
1 foot concrete slab and you're good to go.
I mean, that's the minimum, but probably 3 feet is the
Wow.
requirement. So we don't have freezing, nothing freezes here. So we don't need this deep
You don't need a
foundations.
deep. In Fargo, North Dakota, I have a good friend up there, and he hit the fucking requirement to build. It's like you have to dig like a 10-foot foundation because it's so cold there.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a basement. So right away there. So it's too expensive. Plus we have this something called natural cement. So over the years, dust, water, dust, water, dust, water, different levels, that becomes like a natural cement. And you cannot dig it. You just have to come in special equipment to dig that. So it's more expensive, and we're here with just everything cheap, fast, get it done, that type of a thing.
What
So
about age of property? I don't know if that's a problem in Phoenix, but like I
nope.
don't like to do old houses to rent myself. I don't do them. There's too many problems with them. Like I'm talking 1890 to 1910 builds up here in the East Coast.
So in Phoenix, we don't have that. I mean, the oldest you can do probably something in the 40s.
That's
It's
like
like,
new
oh my
for
God,
me,
that's
bro.
that's that's ancient. Like, what the hell?
Dude,
We're not that.
1940s like new construction where
Yeah.
I'm at right now. It's crazy.
So this is what I'm going to say. If it's a good deal, buy it. Do not avoid it. But if you really want to, there's two strategies for these properties. Either you really like it, it's a good deal, it's going to appreciate really, really high, and you want to hold it. When you buy it, do a full remodel, but a really, really full remodel. We're talking about even sewer, anything that you should not have any problems at all. Use the burn strategy system to include to all the repair costs into the financing, and just do a great new remodel top to bottom. So,
Okay.
and then the property being old doesn't really matter because it's maintained
Brand
really
new.
well.
Yeah.
Exactly. The next thing, the second option is you buy the property as is, do very little, and if you have a tenant there, and later either sell it and exchange it, or start putting together a big budget for full remodel.
And then do a cash out refi.
Do a cash out refi, but do not avoid them. Just get them later, especially if you have one with a tenant already existing in the property. Do not remove the tenant. If the tenant wants to stay and they pay you $1,000, but the market rent is 1,600. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get him out. I'm gonna remodel it. I'm gonna get 1,600. No, the math doesn't work because you're gonna get him out. You're gonna spend $60,000 on remodel. It's gonna take you 3-4 months, and then you're gonna get $600 more cash flow.
Doesn't make any sense.
You invest 60,000 to get $600 more. How many months is gonna take you? Yeah, it's gonna take you what? 100 months?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You're like freaking
7-8 years to get your cash back. No, just keep the tenant in and do the minimum and start budgeting to full remodel later when the tenant is out, or just sell it and replace it with something easier to manage and maintain.
All right, so let's I want to cover one more thing because this is a good topic and people need to hear this. Let's talk a little bit about this will be our last segment today, is what type of rehab should you do on your standard property, right? Because I rehab rentals differently than I rehab houses, a little bit, not too much, but I definitely delineate that. What would you recommend? I'll give you an example. If I have my druthers, I'm probably not putting ceiling fans in, and if there's central AC, obviously. I don't want them to sweat. A dishwasher, I don't like putting them in because those break. Washer and dryer, I prefer the tenants to bring because those break. And another thing is, like, I like to put in really hard countertops. I would do the same countertops because those hold forever, basically. So what are your thoughts on like doing the right remodel so you don't have a property breaking and shit? And floors too, that's big.
The question is if I do this, is it going to increase the rent? Or is it going to save me trouble in maintenance? Yeah. So granite countertops are cheaper than Formica.
Yes.
So do granite countertops. As far as the appliances, with us, it's standard to have a dishwasher. It's okay. Having a dishwasher, it's okay. In a multifamily, it increases your water bill a little bit, but not. I think dishwasher is a good thing to have.
Okay.
But refrigerator, washer, and dryer, if you don't have them, ask the tenant to buy it. If they cannot buy it, if you already have them, in your lease agreement, write down that the tenant is responsible for the repairs of the refrigerator, washer, and dryer. It's going to save you a lot of money.
Interesting.
Don't do fence. I just remodel property, do lighting, and then no ceiling fans at all. They break.
No fan. Those break.
No. Vinyl planks. Get rid of the carpet. You can do tile, but don't do it even tile. Just vinyl plank.
Get fucked up. The caulking gets fucked up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So a tip for the vinyl planks: do not put the vinyl planks and then put the kitchen on top. Kitchen on the concrete, vinyl on the side. It's going to save you a lot of problems if there's a flood.
Wait, say that again. So basically, rip up the kitchen floor so you have.
No. When there's nothing, and is replacing the kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
Don't do the flooring and put the kitchen cabinets on top of the flooring.
Oh, okay.
Put the cabinets first on the concrete, and then do the flooring next to
Okay, so it doesn't rub. I see.
Yes, if you get in a flood, you're gonna have to rip the whole kitchen with the flooring.
That's a nugget right there.
I mean, it's experience. I learned that the hard way.
Let me ask you this about floors, because this is really what gets fucked up in rentals. There's two kind of floors that look almost exactly the same. There's wood laminate, and then there's LVP that has a rubber, like it's almost like rubber, water resistant. I see a lot of landlords make the mistake where they think that they're putting vinyl in, but they're really putting in wood laminate floors in a bathroom. And if you get a leak, those floors are shot. So are you talking about the rubber plastic snap-on floors?
Yes. Generally known as the vinyl planks.
Vinyl plank, yes.
Yes. This thing gets flooded. You take it out. put it in pieces, gets dried, and then put it back in.
Yes. Yes. The
Yes.
wood gets
So
rotted and rusted.
If you have an old house before and you do the bathroom, do the plumbing of the bathroom too, the sewer, because most likely if you have a problem, you have to rip up all the tiles and everything just to fix the sewer. So one thing, paint. Use high gloss paint, high
Interesting.
quality, high gloss paint, because this paint, first, if you have to repaint spots, they how was the right word? It just, the spots don't see it if you paint on top of something. They how do you call it? You just don't see. If you have to paint spots, um, they don't stand out.
Yeah.
If you have to paint,
What's
but
the
also,
opposed to what? Like
I mean, it blends when you paint with high quality paint and you go buy a new one and paint it on top with a little spot, it blends very well. So don't buy cheap paint, buy expensive paint. And then if you do high gloss, you might not have to repaint. All you have to do is just wipe really good. So on the high gloss, you'll be able to wipe it. So if you have apartments, a little cheaper, than just do high gloss.
Dude, you have all these like tricks of the trade just sitting up in that cranium of yours. You're like an old man, even though you're not old, but you're like an old man with his wisdom today. Just because these are little things where, like, if you make this mistake, you really set yourself up to have more
Yeah,
stress.
like people change the windows. Why the hell do you change the windows in the property? Who pays the electricity bill? The tenant. You don't pay the electricity bill. Why make it nice? You're gonna spend $10,000 on the windows, and it's not gonna increase your rent significantly. So
No.
no, do not change the windows. Only thing, like in our market, popcorn ceilings are very popular. I don't know if you know in your market.
Yeah,
What,
I know.
and people tend to start changing. Why do you change the popcorn ceiling? It doesn't matter. Just paint it on top, and it's not gonna increase your rent. It's gonna cost you another week and maybe $3,000 to $5,000
You got to
or 10.
sheetrock. You got to sheetrock it. It's the whole fucking thing. I've done that.
Yeah.
I do that for flips. I did a sale in California. I've done some flips there.
So for rent,
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't do it, because it
Yeah.
doesn't increase your rent. And
No.
appraisers don't even care about it. It's
They
just,
don't
it's a
even know.
common. Yeah. So little things that do not increase your rent significantly, it's a higher cost.
100%.
Mostly paint and carpet. It's one of the best things. Paint and carpet.
Paint and carpet, baby. Oggie, you are a wealth of knowledge. I'm looking forward to our podcast next month, where we're going to be discussing a different topic here in this series. If people want to learn from the master himself, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? Because I'm just saying this. I was a coaching student of yours, and it has been very, very helpful, to say the least. And that's being generous.
I'm happy you changed your mind from 7 years of wholesaling to
Almost like a rat running for cheese. Like,
yeah. So making what in the last 3-4 months? What, 300,000 in equity? Yeah,
I got more than that, but yeah.
more than that. Yeah.
Well, that's
So
with other properties, but yeah.
the best thing is right now, just reach out to me directly. Either Google my name, Oggie Penev, you'll find me on social medias, or just call me on my cell phone, 602-405-8156. Text me, and I'll be happy to sit down and discuss your situation, see your structure, how we can set up your buy and hold business, get money in, get money out, and kind of set you up for the next 10, 20 years of buying a limited amount of rental properties. So.
Amazing. By using the Buron juice.
Buron juice, man. Velocity refinancing.
That's funny. That's a good one. Oggie, this was a pleasure. I'm looking forward to the next one. Take care.
Okay, man. Thanks. Bye.